Brakatah Yahweh, Brakatah Yahweh Shai. All praises and all honor and all glory unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, who rule well. Salutations to the Akim of Four Winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking their lives more now than ever. The hopeful elect, the elect. Shalom. Right? To you Israelite foreigners who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel and have come back to the fold. Shalom. To you sisters, you Akwathium, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. Shalom. This your brother Ram Yahweh with the lesson. And it's back in the news. Back on the scene. You know what I mean? The CV-19 changes body, your immune response depending on sex. Find studies, right? So they're saying that it affects your immune system, right? Which they've been saying that, the doctors that they were shutting up. I mean, you're talking about, highly respected doctors who's been doctors for 40, 30, 20 years. Highly respected doctors being shut up who was telling you that this affects your immune system. So now basically they're doing damage control and making it seem like, it does do something, and it depends on your sex, and now it depends on this, and it depends on that, right? So, you're going to see what's going to happen to you trusting the devil, right? So this was a update of January 6th of 2023, right? So, so I would say this is damage control, but I wouldn't even say it's damage control because these are the things that they had already been saying. It says a study has found that I think the SARS-CoV-2 alters body's immunity response to other threats. See? Yeah. Basically, this is what people were saying. It's like you got AIDS. Because AIDS is just, what is it called? It stands for autoimmune deficiency. Right? It's allowing your immunity to be deficient. It's not able to fight off other diseases. It's taking away your ability to defend the body, right? And that's just basically what this is saying. So you basically, in a sense, have AIDS, because that's what it is. The immune response to other threats, but changes depending on the person's sex. That's what they're saying, right? But it could be that too, because the weird thing about it is, but maybe that's just for them famous people or for them other people. I don't know. What's his name? Magic Johnson got it, but somehow he was with his wife, but then she didn't get it. And apparently that happened with a couple people, from what they're saying. They was trying to say that about Eazy-E too, but you know what they say about him, that they feel like they gave it to him in the hospital. But I mean, if the theory is true that he just caught it, but then his wife didn't have it, it could be dependent on sex. the way it, whatever, you know what I mean? This is scientists have found the baseline immune statures in men previously infected with, I guess, SARS or whatever, SARS-CoV-2 were altered in ways that changed the response to an exposure to different from the SARS-CoV-2, right? So it says the team of researchers systematically analyzed the immune response of healthy people who had been given the flu vaccine. From that data, that they compared the response between those who never had never been infected by the SRS-CoV-2, right? The virus that causes, the CV19, and those who experienced mild case but recovered, right? So, which I don't understand that, because the flu joint is something completely totally different than that. You know what I'm saying? So how are you gonna compare you know the CV19 to the flu shot? It don't make sense. You know what I mean? And they tell you that it's changing you. This is the thing that people were trying to warn people about before this whole thing, when this whole thing was going on, that it's changing your immune system. Hey, you know what I mean? Now you basically got an autoimmune deficiency, right? Says so the team led by John Sung Sang or Sang, an immunity biologist from Yale University, U.S., found that immune system of men who have recovered from mild cases of CV19 responded more robustly to the flu vax, and when women than women who had been than women who had mild cases, or men and women who have never been infected, which that's all BS right there, especially the men and women who've never been infected. Why? Because they've been saying it from the beginning about the herd immunity type thing. So, I mean, they, they gotta leave you with some type of thing out there saying that the people who haven't got it still need to go get this, but yet you have an autoimmune deficiency, basically. Now it doesn't defend against this or don't defend against that, when previously it did. This was a total surprise to Sang or whatever, or Song, however you say it. When like a Chinese word name, Sang Sung, whatever. But yeah, he's shocked, but no one's shocked because all these other experts who had degrees forever had been telling you people this. But now they're just throwing it out there like, I don't know, I guess to make you feel better. I don't know. But you basically got AIDS, and they want you to feel better about it.
The Pentagon controlled the COVID-19 program from the very beginning, and everything we were told was political theater, basically to cover it up, right down to the FDA vaccine approval process. It was all theater. That means that human beings were used as props, essentially. According to newly obtained documents, the Pentagon used a combination of shady approval authorizations that are still in use, including the PrEP Act, the Emergency Use Authorization, and other transaction authority, the OTA, all of which shielded big pharma agencies, medical participants that delivered unregulated vaccines from any liability and protected them, basically. We've gone through a lot of these documents and just showed how they are not on the hook for any of this liability. These documents, these new documents, were obtained by a former executive of a pharmaceutical contract resource organization. That person is Sasha Latypova, and Sasha joins us now to tell us what she's uncovered. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Sasha.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. This is intense. I mean, when you first uncovered these documents, did your jaw just hit the floor, or did you know that this is what you were going to find based on the breadcrumbs you were already uncovering?
Well, I was really shocked. I was working on this for quite some time. So my first finding was that these products were not good manufacturing practice compliant. And that I found right away when they started being rolled out due to extreme variability of adverse events and deaths that were reported per each lot of the so-called vaccine. So that was very shocking to me as a pharmaceutical professional, because we know how high quality pharmaceuticals typically must be manufactured. You know, they have to be very, very consistent. There should be practically no variation lot to lot in terms of toxicities or any other performance characteristics. And these products were varying about 1,000 times lot to lot. So that was extremely concerning. And I didn't realize why that was happening, but I just knew that they were not good manufacturing practice compliant. I later confirmed that through regulatory documents. And then the final piece of the puzzle was when I was able to see all these contracts from the DoD. They were released based on Freedom of Information requests and also Securities and Exchange Commission disclosures. And when I saw those contracts, there were around 400 that are now available for all COVID, so-called COVID countermeasures, including vaccines. I realized that was really what was going on. The Department of Defense used a very shady contracting practices and also used several laws that were put in place previous to COVID to do this, to shield pharmaceutical companies, to not conduct proper clinical trials, to do a lot of fraudulent, I would say, manipulations of public perception, and all in collusion, obviously, with mainstream media and these pharma companies. And so as a result, we have this theatrical performance called clinical trials, but they were actually not real. They did not, based on the laws that are used here and invoked in this process, clinical trials are not required at all. And in fact, they cannot be conducted.
I mean, that's one of, there's many really troubling parts of the story. We'll unpack a few of them, but that one stands out to me perhaps at the top of the list, is the theatrics that were put in place for these trials. So there were human beings in many ways being used as props to paint the veneer that they were somehow going through deep trials to make sure that we were all safe with these vaccines. And you have, I know there was, for instance, a 13-year-old girl. They, in fact, had an ad. The Vaccine Safety Council had put out an ad that was going to run during the Super Bowl, and it was yanked by Comcast. They wouldn't allow it to air, which shows a perfectly healthy 13-year-old girl who went through this particular trial and then ended up having all sorts of adverse events. So these people were used as props, essentially, right?
Yes, exactly. And so the clinical trial subjects were deceived. But importantly, most of the clinical trial sites and investigators were also deceived, and most of the FDA employees were deceived because this particular scam is driven from the top. Only few people, as far as I understand, at the top of these organizations, the Department of Defense, HHS, FDA, BARDA, their legal counsels, they know. But then the rest of the regular employees and rank and file, and especially clinical trial subjects, of course, were kept in the dark. And in fact, under Obama administration Cures Act, amended, I believe, the emergency use authorization, or not emergency, the informed consent requirements, such that subjects don't have to be necessarily informed of what's going on if it's deemed not in their best interest. And so again, it's too long to go into the legal history. There's very extensive research, hundreds of pages of documents on legal history of this, but the laws that they're invoking to run this program do not require informed consent, and also do not require the clinical trials.
So the people, I'm sorry, this is unbelievable. So the people involved in these trials, they don't need to be informed about what is happening?
Yes, exactly. So the informed consent rules have been amended under Obama to say that if it's not in the best interest of the subject, who decides if it is or it isn't? But
Yeah, so this is Inside Precision Medical. It says rare, CV19, V complications linked to circulation spike proteins in your blood, right? So there's all sorts of different things, man, that's going on. Yeah, so this is Job 13:4. But ye are forgers of lies, ye are all physician of no value, right? So let's go into that, see what that forger is, right?
Strong's H2950. Tafel. Tafel.
Right, Tafel. Well, let's see, Tafel is what it said. To smear, to plaster over, stick, glue, right? So they're just throwing out lies and seeing what you'll believe, right? And they did that. So a lot of you took the juice, right? You took, you know what I mean? You took the Babylon juice, and now now, hey, let's see more. Matter of fact, oh yeah, let's go down here. It says Hebrew Chaldaic lexicon. And it says as in the Talmudic. Let's see. See if I can. Move this down here. As in the Talmudic, to patch, to sew together, figuratively to frame lies, right? And then we'll just go over here real quick to the, dictionary definition. Forger, a person who produces fraudulent copies or imitations, right? Right. So the whole thing with doctor, right? This is a 13th century doctor, Christian church father from old France, doctor, and directly from the medieval Latin doctor, religious teachers, advisors, scholar in classical Latin, teacher, agent, noun from the docre, forgot how it said, but yeah, docre, to show, teach, cause, to know. Right here it is, right here. This was the point I'm trying to make right here. Originally, make to appear right. So to make something to appear right is basically to lie, right? Right? Or a forger, right? To appear, make appear right. Conclusive of decree, be seemingly fitting, right? So it goes into basically, doctor goes into being falsified, right? Yeah, causatively of decree being seemingly fitting, right? Yeah. So it goes into falsifying, basically. It took me a minute to find this, but I had to put up because the up part is something new, right? Even though they're not giving you that, because I went into the etymology online and it should have gave you the old original meaning of doctor, which they kind of somewhat did, but then not directly saying, yeah, this is exactly what it means. It kind of gave you a little bit, but not directly. So now you have to put doctor up just to get the right, correct meaning of doctor, because I don't, you know what it is, but it says to falsify, because that's actually what doctor means. To falsify, to modify something so that it appears to be better than it is. And that's ultimately what they're doing. This whole thing, all it's been about. And that's what they've always been about. Right? So, I remember a long time ago, you had those old Jakes, and they was always saying they didn't trust preachers and they didn't trust doctors. But, society and, you you were raised by your mom, so you be listening to these women cackling. They crazy. Modern technology. This is the 90s. These are the 80s. These are the 2000. Don't they know things ain't like that? No, like, and you're thinking, oh well, no, it's a reason not to trust. These old Jakes had a reason behind all that, man. Right? Yeah. So this is back at Job 13. I'm gonna go 5. Oh, that ye would altogether hold your peace, right? And it should be your wisdom, right? Because ultimately, with all this Dr. Falsey, right? What you call Fauci, or the Fauci ouchie, right? All this World Health Organization is basically like they're speaking for the Most High, Yahweh Shem Shai, man. Right? Because the Lord already created the body to have an immune system. But they say, no, we can make it better. But now that they made it worse, they're just throwing it out there to say, hey, well, there's adverse things. It may differ from a woman to a man, but how did that help you? You know what I mean? At the end of the day, but they're speaking for Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai in a sense, man. It says, oh ye, would you all together hold your peace? Because really that's what they should have been doing. And it should be your wisdom. Hear now my reasoning, and hearken to the pleading slaki of my lips. Will ye speak wickedly for power, right? Which is Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. And talk deceitfully for him, right? By telling you that they could fix your they can make you can make a better immune system, right? They could do this, they could do that. All the new technology, trust the science, right? And ultimately that's speaking wickedly for the Lord. Because the Lord never said for you to do anything like that. Will ye accept his person? Will you accept this man or this system over Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai? Will ye contend for power? Or are you here to basically war against the Lord? Are you here to war against the Lord, contend against him? It is good that he should search you out, right? And that's why all these different doctors came out and was trying to warn you people, man. But look, the things are being searched out. Look, it's the articles are coming up about what's actually happening, man. Right? These things are being searched out. Now they have to. Oh well, there's a couple of spikes in the blood, in the proton blood, which there were doctors telling you that before any of this happened, but they were shutting them up. They were trying to shut them up. Right? It says so basically contending to go to war against. It is good that he should search you out, or as one man mocketh another. So really, it's like they were doing this thing, and they're laughing at the Most High, like we got this, we'll take care of it. But listen, at the end of the day, now who's getting mocked at? Who's getting laughed at? You people who's fallen into the hands of these falsifiers, man. A doctor, the ones who doctor up, since you gotta add up to it, because that's what doctor means, man. Right? So it says, mock another to do ye mock him? You think you're here to mock the Lord? No, the Lord's gonna mock you, man, and your situations are gonna come to your end. He will surely reprove you. See, you're gonna get reproved if ye do secretly accept persons, man. If you think you can somehow subtly accept what the devil has for you and try to accept what the more I have for you. The Lord said you cannot serve two gods. You cannot serve God and mammon. You can't eat at the table of the righteous and at the table of devils all at the same time. That's not going to work. Yeah, so it says what? 11, says Job 13 verse 11. Shall not his excellency make you afraid? Should you not be afraid of Yahweh Shema Shai? Whether you're the doctor who's falsifying things, or you as you so-called regular human beings, especially you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian, who's just listening to these so-called doctors, your so-called leaders, man, with this science falsely so-called, right? Should you not be afraid of the Lord Excellency? Should it not make you afraid and his dread fall upon you? Because you don't know what the Lord was going to do to you, man. You didn't know if the Lord, none of you prayed and asked the Lord, God, or whatever you call Jesus, was it okay to take this thing, man? With the juicy juice, man. The jump shot. The icky vicky. The ouchie fauci. The hokey pokey. You didn't ask him, you asked the Lord, was it okay, man? Remember, your remembrance are as ashes, man. Your existence is frail. So this is an untested, unknown thing to man, to anybody, as far as you know it, and you are willing to throw yourself out there. Your whole remembrance is like ashes, and your bodies of the clay, man. Your body's gonna turn back to the dust. But you should remember that the Lord giveth life, and the Lord taketh away, man. You're supposed to have faith, man. You so-called Christians, right? Especially you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, man. You so-called Israelites, right? You know? Listening to General Yahanna, right? Yeah, so this is Isaiah chapter 30, verse 2. And this is the Christian Standard Bible. Without asking my advice, they set out to go down to Egypt in order to seek shelter under Pharaoh's protection, right? And that's ultimately what you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians were doing. All of Babylon, all you Egyptians, that's here, man. You Babylonians, man, right? Right? All you Sodom and Gomorrites, right? That's here, man. Right? When you to go under Pharaoh for protection and to take refuge in Egypt, right? Let's go up here. The New Living Standard. For without consulting me, you have gone down to Egypt for help. You have put your trust in the Pharaoh, in the Pharaoh's protection, and you have tried to hide in his shadow, right? King James Version. That walk down that walked to go down into Egypt and have not asked at my mouth, man. And you're supposed to go to the prophets, man. You're supposed to ask the true prophets what should be done, man. Not you general Yohanalites, you Nadalites, right? You're supposed to be about being Israelites, man. Right? Go, if you don't know, go to the law. Go back to the scriptures, man. Leviticus 19 would have told you that, man. Not to do that. It says, to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh and to trust in the shadow of Egypt, man. And that's all ultimately what America is a shadow of Egypt, man. That's why it has the pyramid on the dollar bill, man. That's why it's synonymous with bondage of the Israelites, because why? The Israelites are in bondage in what? In this shadow of Egypt. This spiritual Egypt. This Leviticus 19 and 27, ye shall not round the corner of your head, neither shall thus mar the corner of thy beard, right? Telling you, basically giving you the symbol, giving you what this thing is governed by, right? You shall not make any cuttings in your flesh, right? In order for a so-called pointed thing, a karax that's pointed at the end to going through your skin, right? That's cutting your flesh, right? Everybody knew this, understanding this back in the day as at tattoos. But what? You could go to the tattoo shop and get the MOTB. You can go to any place and get your free CV19 jumper, right? You know, so ye shall, it's giving you the similitude, the similarities. Ye shall not make any cutting in your flesh for the dead, neither nor print any marks. Oh, MOTB, mark, charagma, marks, right? Ain't gonna have. Hey, if mark is the same, see that's what the. Oh, matter of fact, since those other Israelites, every time you say mark, it's the same thing. Well, then either way it go, it would mean that across the board, right? So either way it go, it would be a sin, right? So you can't make any excuses for taking the jumper, right? You can't make any excuse for taking the MOTB. All right. Upon you, I am Yahweh, man. Yahweh Bashem Al-Shai, Bashem Rakakadash, right? It says right here, Ecclesiastes chapter 30, verse 14. Better is the poor being sound and strong, or constitution, right? So let's go and look what constitution mean. It says a constitution. It says a body of fundamental principles or established precedents according to which a state or other organized organizations, right? Which that's what Yahweh Bashem Al-Shai is. Yahweh Bashem Al-Shai is an organization, right? The organization of Yahweh, right, through His Son, which is and the holy angels that do His biddings, that make up, that goes down into King David, which makes up the nation of Israel, man. Right, the 144,000 and the government body, right, and it's gonna make what a organization, right, is acknowledged to be governed, right, and the Lord gives you what it is that you need to acknowledge how it's governed. He's not just making this up. He gives you the scriptures so you know how you're to be governed, right? It says president, right? In an earlier event or action that regarded as an example or guide to be considered, right? Subsequent similar circumstances, right? So, no, the thing's not saying, oh, an actual, you know, a V or jump shot or the hokey pokey, right? But it's an example of just like the MOTB. When you go to Karax, it's not telling you, but it's giving you the similitude of what it really is, man. Right? Yes, we come back right here, back to Ecclesiasticus 30, and I'm just gonna start at 14 again. It says, better is the poor being sound and strong of what? Constitution, right? Similitude, knowing how it's governed, right? Then a rich man that afflicts, that is afflicted in his body, right? So now you got all these different things. Now it's messing with your immune system, right? Healthy and good estate of a body are above all gold, and the strength, a strong body above infinite wealth. For there is no riches above a sound body, a joy above joy of the heart, which is in your mind, your lob. Your mind is going to be, it'll allow your mind to be stable. Death is better than a bitter life or continuous sickness, man. Yeah, I want to give all praises and all honor and all glory unto Yahweh, Ba'asham, Yahweh Shai, Ba'asham, Rakal Kodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well. Salutations to the Akim and the four winds, preaching the truth with sincerity, risking their lives more now than ever. The hopeful elect, the elect. Shalom to the Israelite foreigners whose phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel, but through their father, and have come back to the fold. Shalom to you sisters, you Akwathium who listen and learn of your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with kindness. This your brother Aram Yahweh with the lesson, Ababa Ball.